Everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. Back for another exciting episode of turning garbage into stuff. Or stuff into garbage, depending on your interpretation. This is a piece of game board. I'm going to come over here as close to the edge as I can and still be able to get my circle to cut out. I'm going to draw roughly a 2-inch circle to be the base of my new toy I'm going to make. And then I'm going to get something to cut it with. I'll use these scissors, even though I can get a better cut with a razor knife. Look at that. Almost like I know how to cut a circle. Now that we're done with the circle, well, almost done with the circle. The circle-ish. Let's get some cardstock. Let me find some. Old man noises, go! I have some cardstock here. I'm gonna get some glue. Oh, the glue gun's empty. Okay, I'm gonna glue that on there just like that. Whoa, having all kind of problems behind the camera here. Something like that. I'm going to make that look generically like some panels. Who's coming up? Who's our coming up? Glue, 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 glue. I'm going to cut that across at a bit of an angle to have another loose plate there. And I'm just going to make sure none of it's popping up. Sweet. So that'll be the base for my new creation, whatever it may be. So what I want to do is I want to make a bot that is very many hundreds of years old that was made to walk around and collect things, and they would stick it to them using the pieces for recyclables and using the pieces for repairs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a tinfoil ball of some random useful shape. Something like, that I can play with. And what I want to do is, before I ball this up all the way, I want to get a couple pieces of sprue in there. I'm going to kind of ball that around and scrunch it. Okay. This is going to be the main body of it. Just like that. Okay. Then I want to bring some more tinfoil down on the back, and I'll make the back legs with that in a similar fashion. This will also be kind of the body. So I'm going to fold this over a little bit more. Okay. All right. Bunch that up. There we go. We'll shove that right in there like that. And then we'll kind of curl that around. Ball that. Curve it up. We want to make it kind of sit on top of that. And if you've seen the Dark Crystal, the Striders they ride, I'm trying to do like the body design. I want it to remind me of that. Okay. So let's get that smushed in together. Let's get those legs mounted to the base. And to do that, I'm just going to get some globs of glue. And get those down. Do the same thing in the front. Okay. We'll let that cool and sit for a moment. Okay. Now we're going to need some panels and plates to put on that. Should I do that to make it easy on myself? I'm just going to cut some rectangles. I'm going to curve those best I can. And I'm going to kind of segment those on and try to get those in place like that. Okay. Well, it sounds like the littlest dooms are misbehaving. Because I hear Mrs. Doom up there screaming her head off. All right. And I just want to kind of get some of that protective armor going down the front legs. So as this thing's mashing its way through the surface world, where all the scrap is, it would have some kind of protection. Something like that. Let's get one more layer on there. Just like that. Okay, something like that, and that's where its head's going to go. So I'm going to get a little bit of glue in underneath here and let that kind of cool and become real solid and sturdy. Now I want my back to have pieces of junk and plates on it, and to do that, I'm just gonna get some glue and mount these on there. And look, I just stuck my whole finger on there. Nice, well done, sir. Okay, let's get that on there. We'll get some pieces of sprue in place so it looks Looks like this dude's been picking up scrap and sticking it on his back. I'm breathing through my mouth again today. My sinuses are kind of sore. It's like, as I'm trying to force myself to breathe through them, I never got boogers, like hardly ever. And since I had that surgery, it seems like I'm always getting damn boogers. I just don't like it. It's not my bag. All right. Let's get my blowtorch. Fix that glue situation up a little bit. Get rid of some spider webs. We need some more pieces of sprue on the base there to make it look a little chunkier and set up better. Okay. Let's get that in there pretty good, like that. Then we'll just toss this on top of a base, or not a base, but a one of those. We get a little bit of glue. All right, that one's empty. All right, that one's empty. This one won't be. Let's just get a good sturdy coating on parts of this, especially parts that are elevated off the model that could be loose or floppy. And let's make sure we get our glue where there's plastic to make sure that doesn't come loose in any form. to make sure we hit the edges of our plates to make sure that stays. Alright, and that should be pretty sturdy at this point, I would guess. Now we need a head. I'm going to set that off to the side and find something to use for a good head. So, I found this Yingling cap that no one was using for anything and thought that that could kind of fit over here, kind of like that. And I'm making our glue stack out. And we need like a bead or something to be kind of like this. This thing's like head. Let me look at my big bead thing. I got some big beads. Okay. Some smaller beads in there might be cool. Lease fit? No, lease fit? Sort of. Alright, let's try it. Get a little bit of glue in there. Just like it. Okay. We'll fill that around a little bit. And plug those edges up nicely. Just like that. One. And... two. There we go. We'll just clean that edge up. We'll set that down and cool for a moment. We'll get a couple of these out. I'll use them for something. Ooh, a lot of spider webs. All right, so we want that head on there, and we want it mounted in such a way that it looks like it's on a neck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of glue. I'm going to stick that on there, kind of centered and towards the middle, but down some. And we're going to get a little bit of glue and mount that on there like so. We'll let that cool for a minute. Whoa, come on. There we go. Stay there. Just got glue all over my hands. Super glue, not hot glue. I'm gonna hit this with to smooth up any weird lines or anything I don't want there. And that'll do it for sure. Now I want some kind of detector type snout thing. It looks maybe like a radar dish or something. I don't know. I don't know what I want. I'm gonna get a little piece of, I have a little bingo chip thing here of some sort. I don't know what that's from. It's from some kind of like board game mix set. I'm gonna shove this anywhere up on the shoulder to get it in place. I'm going to get a little bit of glue just on the back of that. This is going to be like a scrap detector piece of some sort. I'll put a tiny bit of glue on that and stick that right in the center of that. Or at least what I'm hoping is going to be the center of that. Alright, calm down. Everybody calm down. Anybody, speaking of calm down, if anybody knows who Selena Gomez is, she needs to calm down with that plastic surgery. Holy crap. we were in the car driving back from the flea market and some game stores, and we watched that video of me and the boys. Lady Doom was driving. And Selena needs to calm down. She used to be a pretty young lady and had the whole world in front of her. Now she looks like a crazy monster. Poor thing. All right, I'm just going to get some of the excess glue wiped around to sturdy that up a little bit. And let's get some baking soda on here to make some permanent homes while I figure out how I'm going to do the face. I just realized how I'm going to do the face, though, so that worked out well. So let's get a little bit of baking soda on parts here. It's going to add a layer of grime, and it's also going to sturdy up our mini some. A lot of this super glue is probably dry at this point, I'm guessing. All right, cool. I'm going to take the hot air gun off the screen here and blow this thing off. All right. So I think what I'm going to do for the eyes is I have those little tiny water painting gem bead dealios. I'm going to get a little bit of glue on that cardboard. I'm going to get my poker and some of those. I'm going to put some rivets on him. And I'm going to use some of those rivets will be eyes. Here's my poker thing. I'm just going to get a dab of glue. There we go. All right, sweet. Oh, we got an escapee. Something like that. All right, now I have some other stuff we could use. Like I got these wall protectors at Dollar Tree. These might be sick for something like this, dude. There we go. Are these sticky like a sticker? Or? Yeah, they kind of are. Let's put one down there. There's some smaller ones in here. There we go. They are sticky like a sticker. We'll pop one right here on this plate. That'll be neat. Neat and different. I don't have anything just like that on any of my stuff yet. But I will say, if we did use those, it'd behoove us to get a little dab of glue on them to make sure they stay. Oh, that didn't work at all. All right. Get that. Oh, shit. There we go. We'll poke at. See if we can't get this thing back up on here towards kind of permanente. Okay. No. Not good, dudes. Man, I cannot get that off there. There we go. And this one is sturdy. Okay. Now using a piece of toothpick, or even a whole toothpick if that's what you grab, I guess bows. Let's make sure all our glue is spread around before we hit this thing with some paint. I don't think that wants to stay there. Let's see if we can melt it there. All right, I hope that stays. I don't think it will. I have an enormous amount of confidence about that. hit it with spray can. I'm going to do black, and then I'm going to hit with a brown. And I might tap it with a clear coat as well, actually. Got a couple new brushes in a game store I'd never been to today. I think it was called Drawbridge Gaming. It was in, I believe, South Hills, Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh. And it was a nice place. The guy was very kind. I showed him the channel. He said he loved kit bashing and customizing. Thought this might be a good place for him. And if I'm wrong and he doesn't like it or doesn't check it out, that's fine too. Because you know what? Newsflash, free country alert, we're still one of those. I know, it doesn't sound like it sometimes. People are always saying stuff that seems a little aggressive and obscene, but from what I can tell, we're still a free country. Okay, let's get a piece of cardboard here. Here. Reddish brown, brown metallic, light gray. Favorite crappy brush, some dirty paint water. Let's get this guy done up proper. Oh, we lost a piece down there already. Good news is I know a guy. We lost two pieces down there apparently. So what we're going to do is get that kind of back in place. A little bit of glue. That really burnt me. Ow, shit, and ow. Where's the other one that moved? There it is. Just going to squirt a little bit of glue in there. We'll pour a tiny bit of super glue on that. That one's empty. Okay, get our wet brush back out, finish up with some metallic on the base and some spots, let it run all over the place and be crazy and be happy. You know, I try to channel my inner Bob Vila sometimes, but you know what? Goobertown has like the lock on like painting and chilling. I don't know if you ever checked out Goobertown Hobbies, but Brent, dude's an absolute gem. Super kind sounding fella. Sounds like he really cares about people in the world. And I would not mind if you guys ran and checked him out. But he is like, to me, the Zen painter. Dude is just joyful, kind, patient, fun, good-natured. Just can't say enough good things about the dude. Never met him. Just watching his videos brings me joy, man. Grime that up. All right, let's hit this with the air gun. And let's figure out what color it used to be. So I'm guessing this thing was some kind of working bot. It was a laborer, so I'm going to go with a color that's, you know, something like that. I'm going to use this orange. I'm going to get a crappy brush. Where's that one brush I was using? There it is. I'm going to get a crappy brush. I'm going to wipe some of this off, and then I'm going to start hitting some of the main parts of them that look like they're part of the original design. Like that. Just dabbing it around, not everywhere. Intentionally missing spots where it's rubbed off over time. And instead of trying to weather it, it's easier to come back and try to show where paint may have remained. That's what I'm thinking. Look right there, I got some baking soda exposed. I'm just going to paint that orange and rub it in there and leave it, because I just do not care a bit. Sprue in my arm, I don't care a bit. Not going out to the edges intentionally, because there's no way the paint made it for very long on the edges. And this is older than most of my stuff, so the parts that are down towards the bottom more, I'm trying to make it seem like they have less paint left intact. Okay. Up towards the top where it's been a little more salvaged, not as beat, the orange is brighter and less destroyed. Now we know, in reality, if it picked up chunks over time, those chunks wouldn't have orange on them most likely, but that's okay. Okay, now let's do some touch-up work on them in some places to change it, to have different colored plates. So now I'm going to get this blue, and I'm going to try to get some of the separate plate here. With that, it's muddied with that orange in it, and I'm just going to leave it that way. I'll get a green color, something mediocre, lighter medium. I got this limeade. Wipe some of this water off my brush. And I'll find another plate that's renegade and not part of the original design. I'll hit that with that. And maybe this one up here too. Okay. And here's a metallic silver. This one's called gunmetal. You can use any color you want. Something like this. And some of these metal pieces that are sticking off, like that broken radar piece. I must have melted that with a fire, because that's not the way I left it. Let's hit these legs up with some of that to show that they've been scratched up kind of recently. Okay, something like that. And then we want to come around here on some of these plates and just grab some of the corner edges a little bit and make those look very exposed, like it's been beat up a little bit. You could probably save yourself a lot of time by doing a really nice dry brush on that with silver when you're done. I'm not about that life. Alright, I'm going to do the eyes. And to do the eyes, I'm just going to use a bright green or a bright yellow. Let me see what I got here. I got a really bright green called Jungle Green. Let's put it in the Mix-O-Matic 500 and see what we can do with it. Did not seem to mix up properly. Alright, we'll get a little green on there, right there. I don't think it's really mixed up well. It might be. I don't use a lot of these really super vibrant colors, so. I'm going to let it play with it a little bit because it's not going to run out anytime soon. Yeah, it seems kind of like not mixed properly. I don't know. It's old paint. It's been sitting around for quite a while. Then when this dries, maybe a black wash in some spots would be good, and a clear coat, obviously. Something like that, though. So anyways, all this is a collector bot that no one really knows how to control it anymore, or what its orders are, or why it does what it does. And it just drives around on the bottom, stopping people from scrapping and picking up certain pieces, and people aren't sure why. The actual reason it's picking up the certain pieces is because it's looking for a certain copper content that's a good conductor, not conductor, but no one knows why, and no one knows a lot about metallurgy and stuff anymore. So this thing just goes around bashing people and stopping them from scrapping so it can get like the best picks. And you know, there's several of these, maybe 2 or 3 dozen of these under the city walking around, and people aren't sure what they are or what they do, and no one's ever been able to stop one. And they have this horrible electric attack they give off. It's a giant AoE and 30 foot in every direction from them that kind of stops people's hearts and stuff if they fail their saves. So, yeah, these are pretty neat. Thanks for watching, though. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment, all that happy crappy that keeps Algorithmos, the mystical AI that controls the success of our channel here. Check out the website and the Discord. Those are linked in the description. Also in the description, you'll find a sick little discount code for Dungeon Swag Minis. Can't get enough of them. I have 5 boxes of Dungeon Swag to open up and show you guys. Hopefully I can get through this weekend. So anyways, thanks for watching. And me and the Scrappo bot will see you next time.